had to put on some more lipstick. Where's my notebook? Hi, how are ya? Hello, beautiful people. If you are new here, my name is Jo. If you're not new here, you already know my name. Regardless, whoever you are, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about the books that I plan on reading in the month of July. I have a couple carryovers from June that I want to talk about, and a couple of them that I want to mention at the beginning since I am filming? That is not a word. Since I am filming this on July 5th, I have already finished a few books. I'm not going to give you my thoughts. You guys are going to have to wait for my July wrap up for that. But I will mention them at the very beginning of this video because they are books that I plan to read, have already read in July. It's confusing for all of us. Let's just go ahead and mention those. So the first book that I have already finished in the month of July is Queen of Rot and Pain by Liv Xander? Is that who it's by? Woefully unprepared, darling. Yes, Liv Xander. This is the second book in the Pale Court series. If you watched my June wrap-up, I read the first book in this duology at the end of June, and I enjoyed it. It was my first foray into non-con, so if that's not something that you're interested in, please do not pick this up. This book is following the events of the end of the first book, and the end of the first book kind of ended on a little bit of a cliffhanger, I'm not gonna lie. So this duology is following our main woman, Ada, who is a midwife, and through some circumstances, she finds her way into the court of the King of Flesh and Bone. Now, the King of Flesh and Bone is the being who is responsible for spreading rot, and he has completely abandoned his job. Since the rot is not spreading, the deceased do not necessarily stay dead. They kind of come back as zombie-type beings, and Ada is trying to convince the King of Flesh and Bone to resume his duties. There's non-con in it, there's coercion, there's a little bit of violence. He pretty much breaks her leg to keep her from escaping. The second book that I have already finished in the month of July is Heart of the Fae by Emma Hamm. This is the first book in the Otherworld series, and this is sort of like a Celtic Beauty and the Beast retelling in which we are following our main woman, Sorsha, who is also a midwife. Apparently, we're going on the midwife trend right now, but Sorsha has this desire to be a full-fledged healer. So at the beginning of this story, Sorsha is dealing with a plague of blood beetles. Blood beetles are a creature that kind of burrows under the skin and begins to multiply, pretty much killing the host. And at the beginning of this story, Sorsha's father has come down with the blood beetle plague. Now, she is surrounded by men, obviously, who do not listen to her suggestions on how to get rid of the blood beetle plague. So she decides to take it a step further and make a deal with the Fae to try and find a cure that will save her father and the rest of her family. And the deal that she makes is that she will find this banished prince of the Seelie Fae, bring him back to the people that she made the deal with, and they will give her the cure. He also has this sort of condition curse thing in which every time he gets injured, instead of bleeding and healing the skin back together, there are these geodes, crystal geodes that pop out of his skin. Now, the next book in that series is the continuation of this story following the events of the end of the first book. This one is called Veins of Magic by Emma Hamm, and I'm already in the middle of it, and I'm really enjoying it. This is the continuation of Sorsha and Amon's story. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's the continuation of their story, and I'm really enjoying it. The next book that I want to hopefully finish that is a carryover from June is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This is a darker romance story following Cora and Dean. Dean being Cora's sister's fiance. At the beginning of this story, Dean gives Cora a ride home from the bar. He's the only one available, and they end up getting kidnapped together and put into the basement of this man named Earl. If you've heard the Dixie Chicks song about Earl, Earl is a piece of shit. Earl does a lot of messed up things to them and forces them to do messed up things to each other. I am actually buddy reading this with my mom, and we are both really enjoying it. We just did not have time to finish it in June, so we're hoping to do that in July. For the SJM along this month, we are actually reading A Court of Mist and Fury. This is my copy. I painted it. I'm not going to put the dust jacket on for you people because I think it's pretty. This is the second book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas. I am so excited to get to this one. This one is the book, and I just recently got the ACOTAR overlays for this series. I have a video unboxing these and giving a closer look at them if you want to go and check that out for some, you know, more ACOTAR content. But this book is fantastic. I've already read it like 5 times and I'm so excited to get back into it. It's gonna be great. The next book that I want to get into in the month of July is Lore Olympus. This is volume 1. I'm actually getting volume 2 in the mail today. Hopefully the Amazon man comes through. So I hopefully want to read volume 2 of Lore Olympus this month. This is a webtoon series. If you don't know about webtoon, I have a whole video recommending my favorite romance webtoons. If that is what you are interested in, I talk about this specific series in that video. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling. It is fabulous. The art in this is so absolutely deliciously gorgeous. There is a trigger warning of sexual assault, rape. It is not uber graphic and there is a trigger warning for where it happens. So next I am wanting to reread Ensnared. This is the first book in the Spider-Mates trilogy. If you don't know what this is about, this is an alien romance in which the main hero, Catan, is shaped in an interesting way. He's shaped like a spider, and he ends up coming across this ship in which there are cryogenically contained human beings that have been there for quite a while, and he accidentally frees one of them. It's delicious. It's fantastic. I can't wait to reread it. Next, I am wanting to read Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. Quite a few years ago, I read Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. This is an FF romance, contemporary romance, which is not normally my speed. One thing that I've noticed on BookTube and BookTok is that there is a plethora of MM romances that are being recommended and talked about, but there's not a lot of FF romances that I've seen that are being talked about. And so when this came across my Amazon recommended page, I immediately bought it. Also, if you have any FF romances that you would like to recommend, leave them down below. This seems to be a forced proximity romance between a kind of grump and a kind of sunshine. One of the females in this book is actually a single mother who has some issues with an ex, and Delilah Green is returning to her hometown in order to help with the photography of her stepsister's wedding. I'm really excited about this one. I haven't heard anything about it, but the cover is gorgeous. Look at it. It's beautiful. Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. This I saw on Riley Marie's channel. The only thing I know about it is what she said in her video, okay? So apparently we are following this woman who is a housekeeper, and when the owner of the house dies, he pretty much leaves everything to her. Brothers and sisters of the man are not happy that she's getting all of this. They want to force her to marry her cousin. She decides that she does not want to marry her cousin and she would rather die. So she plans her own death and she decides to fall on a sword. And the sword that she chooses is a very ancient weapon. And when she takes it out of its little scabbard thing, this ancient warrior who has been trapped in this sword, and whoever wields the sword, he must protect them. This is supposed to be a very low stakes fantasy romance in which there is a lot of humor and a grumpy sunshine trope. The next book that I want to get into this month is a honker, and that is The Reckoning by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. This is the 3rd book in the Zodiac Academy series. I'm reading the Zodiac Academy series for the first time, and I'm doing monthly vlogs in which I read one a month until the last book comes out in December, because I've heard the cliffhanger for the 7th book is painful and I don't want to deal with it. So we're doing one a month, but I am so excited to get back into this series. I love the world of Zodiac Academy. I love the school setting. This is a bully romance. We're warming up to the bullies. I personally was warmed up to the bullies in book 1, Darius Acrux. I talk about him all the time. I'm so excited to get back into this series. It is bigger than the last one. I've been excited about The Reckoning since the 1st book, so I am so excited to get into this one. So those are all of the books that I want to read in the month of July. Let me know down below what book you are most excited to read in the month of July. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.